coronavirus cases reported in Los Angeles County in the last 24 hours is 2,339 with 6 additional deaths. Here in Torrance, 20 additional cases were reported and no new deaths. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Rhiannon Trutanich. It's Tuesday, August 31st. An unvaccinated emergency room nurse from Southern California has died from COVID-19, leaving behind her husband, who is fighting for his life with the virus as well. Davy Macias was a mother of 5 and a registered nurse who cared for her patients since the start of the pandemic. She and her husband Daniel were both admitted to the intensive care unit earlier this month. Relatives believe the couple contracted the Delta variant while on vacation. The Yucaipa resident was 7 months pregnant, and doctors delivered her baby after she was intubated. While the baby survived, she passed away on Thursday. Daniel Macias is a middle school teacher and remains in critical condition. The couple's oldest child is just 7 years old, and family members are hoping and praying that he will recover and urge anyone who is not vaccinated to get their shots now. COVID-19 vaccines are effective for a long time. That's the latest message from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices met this week to discuss the potential need for boosters. White House officials have said they're planning to offer the additional doses of the coronavirus vaccines at the end of September, but it is up to the CDC and the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to decide on this matter. Although the CDC's Advisory Committee did not vote during Monday's meeting, they received recent information backing up previous claims that the initial vaccine doses still appear to provide strong protection after several months. CDC's Dr. Sarah Oliver told the Advisory Committee that since the introduction of the Delta variant, vaccine effectiveness against hospitalization remains high, ranging from 75 to 95%. She cited data that runs through July and noted that all vaccines remained effective in preventing hospitalization and severe disease. She added, however, that vaccines may be less effective in preventing infection and mild illness. Vaccine effectiveness against infection ranged from 39 to 84%. Dr. Oliver said reasons for the lower effectiveness likely included both vaccines waning over time and the Delta variant breaking through. Another U.S. study showed vaccine effectiveness against hospitalization in adults 65 years and older may have decreased, but only slightly over time, hovering around 80%, while adults ages 18 and 74 saw 94% of vaccine effectiveness after the same period of time. Dr. Oliver says the bottom line is this: the data demonstrates that COVID vaccines continue to maintain high protection against severe disease, hospitalization, and death. We're getting some more information about LA County's plans to modify COVID-19 testing requirements for youth sports. This affects vaccinated and unvaccinated athletes, coaches, staff, and volunteers. The Public Health Department continues to recommend weekly testing of unvaccinated participants, and the following applies to teams and activities based in LA County. For indoor moderate or high-risk sports for children of all ages, coaches, staff, and volunteers, a weekly negative test result is required for those who are not fully vaccinated, and weekly school testing fulfills this obligation. For outdoor moderate or high-risk sports for youth ages 12 and older, as well as coach, staff, and volunteers, a weekly negative test result is required for all participants ages 12 and older who are not fully vaccinated, and weekly school testing also fulfills this obligation. No screening testing is required for children under 12 playing outdoor sports, as weekly school testing fulfills this recommendation. And fully vaccinated youth participating in outdoor sports are not required to test weekly unless there is a positive case among players, coaches, and/or staff. If there is a positive case, everyone, regardless of vaccination status, is required to have a weekly negative test result for 2 weeks from the date of exposure and must test negative before competitions. Public health officials say these requirements may get modified based on the availability of and access to testing and reassessed when community transmission levels go back down. Recovering from COVID-19 provides better resistance to the Delta variant than being uninfected and vaccinated. That is what a new study suggests after Israeli researchers looked into this matter during the pandemic. They found the natural immune protection that develops after getting infected with SARS-CoV-2 offers 6 to 13 times more resistance to the Delta variant compared to those who never got the coronavirus but did get both of the Pfizer vaccine. The study relies on the database of Maccabi Healthcare Services, which enrolls about 2.5 million Israelis. It is considered to be the largest real-world observational study so far to compare natural and vaccine-induced immunity to SARS-CoV-2. Researchers say no one in the study who contracted the coronavirus died, a clear sign that vaccines offer great protection against serious disease. In another analysis, the team compared more than 14,000 people who had COVID-19 and were unvaccinated with the same number of people who also had the coronavirus but got one dose of the Pfizer vaccine as well. They found the unvaccinated group was twice as likely to get reinfected as those who got the single shot. Researchers concluded that when those who recovered from COVID-19 get even one dose of a vaccine, they'll be protected at a level that can't be matched with any vaccine in the world right now. Health officials urge everyone, including those who had the coronavirus, to get vaccinated. Scientists in South Africa are looking into a new coronavirus variant that is spreading around the world. Genetic researchers say they are seeing a troubling new lineage in the variant called C12, which was first detected in South Africa this May. Since then, it has popped up all across South Africa, as well as in 7 other countries in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. Scientists say the lineage carries many of the same hallmarks as the other strains, including alpha, beta, and gamma, but they're not sure at this time whether C12 is more contagious or more likely to break through the vaccines. Researchers say it's too soon to designate it as a variant of concern. An infectious disease epidemiologist with the World Health Organization tweeted that very few people diagnosed with COVID-19 have this particular strain, and at this time, it does not appear to be rising in circulation. Traveling to Europe just got more difficult again. The European Union recommended this week that member states reinstate travel restrictions on U.S. visitors that were lifted just a couple months ago in June. That means likely bringing back COVID testing, quarantine mandates upon arrival, and even a halt to all non-essential travel. This move comes as the Delta variant led to a surge of COVID-19 cases in the U.S. Meanwhile, the U.S. still has not lifted its entry ban on EU citizens. And on Monday, the CDC added 7 more destinations to the Level 4 COVID-19 very high notice. Those locations include Switzerland, Puerto Rico, and Guam. Level 4 means more than 500 COVID-19 cases per 100,000 residents in the past 28 days. Switzerland had 659 laboratory-confirmed cases per 100,000 residents in the past 4 weeks. And as of Sunday, nearly a third of the country's ICUs were occupied by those infected with COVID-19. The CDC highly discourages going to any destination in the highest risk category and advises those who must travel to be fully vaccinated. The U.S. completed its withdrawal from Afghanistan, ending America's longest war. American troops have been there for 2 decades, since shortly after the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001. The 18 Airborne Corps of the U.S. Army tweeted this picture of the last soldier leaving the country, writing, quote, "in awe of our Sky Dragon soldiers. This was an incredibly tough, pressurized mission filled with multiple complexities, with active threats the entire time. Our troops displayed grit, discipline, and empathy." President Joe Biden issued a statement Monday evening thanking the American military and saying, quote, "The past 17 days have seen our troops execute the largest airlift in U.S. history, evacuating over 120,000 U.S. citizens of our allies, and Afghan allies of the United States. They have done it with unmatched courage, professionalism, and resolve. Now our 20-year military presence in Afghanistan has ended." Over the past 2 weeks, more than 116,000 people were successfully flown out of Afghanistan. But last week, terrorists from the group ISIS-K killed 13 U.S. service members and dozens of Afghans in an attack outside the airport. Up to 200 Americans and thousands of Afghans remain who still want to get out of the country that is now being ruled again by the Taliban. Every person living in South Lake Tahoe is now evacuated as the Caldor fire gets dangerously close to the resort city. The popular vacation spot is home to more than 22,000 people, attracts tens of thousands of summer travelers, and can even see up to 100,000 tourists during holiday weekends. The massive fire continues to spread rapidly in the area, scorching more than 191,000 acres and leading both governors of California and Nevada to declare a state of emergency. Thick smoke prevented air firefighting operations periodically last week. The National Weather Service warned of critical fire weather conditions through Wednesday due to strong gusts, very low humidity, and extremely dry fuels. 3,500 firefighters have been working around the clock to try to gain control of the fast-moving flames. Torrance firefighters are among those who are out there right now. 23 helicopters and 3 air tankers are also dumping thousands of gallons of water and retardant. At last check, the Caldor fire destroyed more than 600 structures, is threatening at least 20,000 more, and is only 16% contained. All national forests in California will be closed starting tonight due to the ongoing wildfires throughout the state. The U.S. Forest Service tweeted the news on Monday, writing, quote, "We made the difficult decision to temporarily close all national forests in California in order to better provide public and firefighter safety due to extreme fire conditions. This will be effective on August 31st at 11:59 p.m. through September 17th at 11:59 p.m. The closure affects the Labor Day holiday and applies to the 20 million acres of camping and hiking grounds. In Southern California, the Angeles, Cleveland, Los Padres, and San Bernardino National Forests will be closed. There are currently more than 15,000 people working to put out fires throughout the state. Forest Service workers hope the temporary closure can help prevent new fires as resources are extremely limited. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community. Pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. Many of us here in Torrance are dog lovers, and now we can brag that our home is one of the best places to raise our furry best friends. Lawn Starter ranked almost 200 of the biggest U.S. cities to sniff out 2021's best cities for dogs. It looked at 22 key factors, from access to dog walkers, groomers, and even puppy-friendly restaurants. Out of 198 cities, the lawn service vetting firm ranked Torrance number 6, ahead of Orange and Fullerton, which also rounded out the top 10 list. On the bottom, however, was New York City. So now we can share with our family and friends that Torrance is one of the best places to raise our dogs. If you have a great story, upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. We'll see you back here tomorrow as Christine Lee brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.